Geek podcast. Today is Wednesday, September 23rd. My name is Adam, and I'm joined by my good friend. He only does everything, Logan.
Hello.
What up? And yeah, man, so again, you're listening to us, hopefully, on the N.FM, our new home. If not, it's okay. But yeah, anyway, so we're here, and we're having fun. We got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of news this week. I reread, and you read for the first time Quiver. We're going to talk about in a little bit. Kevin Smith's Green Arrow book. So we got that to talk about. There's some new shows that came out. Well, not new, but new season. Doctor Who. We got Night of Champions to talk about. We got Fear of the Walking Dead. Bunch of video game news. Pokemon's back on there, so I'm excited. But before we get into all that, man, how was your week?
Worked, I played this one game, I can't remember what it was called, but I had this friend that was playing it that jumped on, and, he kept talking, and he kept talking, and he kept talking. No, man, that was a blast. We gotta do that again sometime soon. That was fun.
We do, man, and of course, to the listeners, what he's talking about is we played Destiny, and I kept talking because you didn't have a mic, so you gotta get a mic. I was just bored, and well, this is what you gotta do, and this is where you gotta go, and here's the story, and here's what's going on. I was just excited to play with you, man.
Totally.
Yeah, I can't wait until you get into it, and especially the newer stuff, because you're playing still through some of the older stuff, and it's not as fleshed out. You don't have Nathan Fillion in your ear the whole time. The newer stuff is like that, and it's fun. It's actually really fun. I was doing something last night with one of my buddies, and it was one of the newer it was one of the newer things, and you get to the end, to the boss, and we were there for I don't know how long, but it was just so much fun. We kept screwing up. We had one of our buddies come in and help us out, and we breezed through it after that. But man, it was just challenging. The newer stuff, actually, it's you got to take something to point A to point B, and while that happens, you got to take care of ads while one person distracts them. It's not just shoot the bad guy and dodge. There's actually mechanics to it, so it was a ton of fun. But yeah, man, that's what I've been doing too, just playing Destiny and reading comics, and I'm actually getting ready to go to a thing called Tomorrow World this weekend, so that's what I'll be up to. And yeah, but in the meantime, probably just reading comics and playing video games and being a geek. but yeah, man, so that's good. Let's get into some movie news here. You want to take the one off the top?
Yeah, sure. And this is weird. Rupert Wyatt, who was directing Gambit, is now no longer directing Gambit. They're saying it's because there's now some schedule issues. For some reason, it's modified the filming schedule. It's pushed it a little further down the road. And he has a previous engagement that far out, and and they're not sure why did they move it? Why did they need the extended time? So but this is an odd production now, because remember, not too long ago we thought we were losing Channing Tatum.
Right, and that's what made me think, did that have anything to do with it, or the push of the movie? But it seemed like that was all done with in a matter of a few days.
Right, yeah, it seemed like the news that he left and then the news that he was coming back was almost like day and day, basically.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So that's odd, but, I'm curious now who's going to come on it, because it's interesting. Gambit's a fun character. People, especially who watch the animated series, really like him.
Yeah.
He's kind of got his own little niche fan base.
He had a great comic run a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't, I forget, I don't think it was more than 16 issues. I'm probably wrong, but I remember it was a limited-ish kind of run. I don't think it was supposed to be, but it just wound up that way. But it was a fun story, and that was the big thing.
Yeah, I liked him in X Factor. I don't know if you read of him in X Factor. It was 2014, I believe. But yeah, I liked it. He was one of those characters, I guess, just for me. I liked him in the cartoon and whatnot. In the comics, he's been hit or miss to me at least. But yeah, I gotta read that run you're talking about. I know which one you're talking about. I haven't got to it yet, of all the stuff we have.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's so it'd be interesting to see who jumps on that. Fox, it's their X-Men to me, their X-Men movies are getting a little bit better. Especially I like the last one. I'm excited for the new one. The Deadpool movie looks dead on. It looks like maybe they're getting their stuff together.
Or just getting out of the way, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, totally. I did see this news, and this one was pretty good. I saw that AMC Theaters teased the possibility of marathoning all 6 Star Wars films leading up to the Force Awakens premiere.
I'm there. I don't care what happens. Like, I'm there.
Yeah, man, that's gonna be a long day.
I don't care. It will be.
No, man, I don't blame you. But oh man, dude, six films. Like, how do you have any idea how long that is? The movies are what, like 2 hours each?
About 2 hours a pop. Yeah. The 6 Star Wars movies are as long as the director's cut versions of all 3 Lord of the Rings movies.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
Yeah, that was a fun 2 days.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, but some of the Lord of the Rings I do like to go back watch the extended. But honestly, I find in the last few years I find myself more so watching the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, well,
like I find all that fascinating.
Yeah, you find something that's for me when that happened with me was the Alien quadrilogy set.
Oh, I never did that.
Oh, the bonus because it's out on Blu-ray now and it's cheap.
Oh, okay.
Because it was expensive when it came out, and then they've added since then, and now they've got it. Now it's on Blu-ray and everything. But the behind the scenes for that is the amount of featurettes is fascinating. But then to actually see, that was the first time I ever sat down and made it a point to watch like all the behind the scenes stuff. It was really fascinating.
Nice. Yeah, no, I love seeing like just how things were made, where the creative ideas came from, how they molded it, and like, well, and then they would show like 5, drawings, and they were like, which one do you like the most? And Peter Jackson would go, I like these. Let's go more with these.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see that, just like how something is created from just an idea or just a book, of course, and just made into a feature film. Like, that's always fascinated me. And the Star Wars, they have a lot of behind the scenes stuff on those movies too. A lot more towards the prequels, so that might not be good for some people. But the behind the scenes stuff still is fascinating to me.
Yeah.
And some of it's cringeworthy too. Like when they're watching the episode 1 and you just see the audience around George Lucas, their faces are like, what? And then when he looks around, they're like, yeah, no, everything's great. This is gonna be great. Everyone's gonna love the Jar Jar guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man. So speaking of that, segue. Did you hear the news about who might pop up in the new Star Wars movie? Yeah. Hayden Christensen. Am I saying it right?
Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, Christensen. Rumor is he's going to appear in the new Star Wars film.
Well, as long as there's no sand. He hates sand.
Yeah, no, I know you're not a big fan of his. When I saw that, if it's true, I doubt it's anything major. I doubt it's gotta be a throwaway scene or what do you call it? A hologram? What do the Sith call it?
That's what you're looking for. The projections, little holograms.
There's actually not to get into like.
No, are you looking for holocron? Is that the word you're looking for?
Holocron. Isn't that what they use? Where it's like, boom, they appear and they speak and they're like, this is the way of the Sith.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I imagine it's something like that, or records of some sort that, we heard rumors that Kylo Ren's obsessed with Darth Vader and his past, and he's just obsessively searching for him and parts of him or whatever. He could find like, there's documents where here's his memoirs or whatever, if Vader had one. And, it could be something like that. I could see that. But then again, it wouldn't actually be Hayden Christensen's face, would it?
Well, I mean, you kind of figure not, because it caught fire and everything,
Right. Maybe it's recordings or something from the Jedi Temple. I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how that works.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's posting a post-death thing, like a ghost. I have no idea. Yeah,
Oh,
it's weird. But I know that turns a lot of people off. So.
just yeah, but
Yeah. Well, let's see. We got some other news here. Rocket League.
well, hang on now, hang on. We skipped the big news. We
Oh,
skipped the
okay. Go
big
ahead.
Star Wars news.
You take it.
That during Halloween Horror Nights, John Landis kind of dropped a little knowledge when he said, "Oh
Oh,
yeah, Disney's gonna re-release the theatrical cuts for the original trilogy."
that's right. Wow, totally skipped over that. That's the
I
best news.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to clean up a little bit from the hating Kristen Perry or hating wow, I just mixed up names there. To clean up that news a little bit. Yeah, no, yeah. How did I forget about this? I put this on my Facebook wall, and all of my like old school Star Wars fans were like, "Yes, this is
Totally.
amazing." So yeah, well, that's what they're planning to re-release the theoretical cuts of it. And oh man,
And
that's gonna be great.
I would love for that, like high def, like blue, remastered, not edited, but remastered versions of the theatrical cuts to be the ones they play at the marathon.
Oh yeah,
And I think that's why AMC took the tweet down.
that's a good point. That's a very good point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I know so many people that are happy for that. A lot of older Star Wars fans that just remember seeing it in the theater and remember that's all they had for so long, and that's what we had as like kids, until they redid everything and put in new stuff.
Right.
So it's really for them, and it's for the, if that happens and it comes out and we have the re-released versions now. You can't be mad at Disney. Like if that happens alone
Yeah.
by itself, that's better than anything.
But
That's
here's
all you wanted.
Yeah, but here's the catch. You know why they haven't been able to re-release them up till now?
Well, it's because Fox has the rights to the original film still,
Right.
right?
So how do they get the rights to the original Star Wars theatrical releases from Fox?
There had to have been a deal that
They
was
give
done.
them the TV rights to the X-Men.
Right. I thought about that. I saw your post about that. That would be interesting.
I think
Why not?
that's I think that would be the deal. And I don't think that's a bad deal, because Marvel can't really do anything TV with them. They've got the Inhumans for that.
Right, and it would just confuse the brand.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe they even reach another deal with it when it comes to their film franchises. If that's on the table, if that's what was bargained,
It
that's
would
awesome.
it would certainly be interesting. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, we're gonna take a little break. We're gonna be right back though. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. Be right back. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast, and we got some more to talk about. We got a lot of more movies to talk about, movie news. This one's kind of exciting for me. When I saw this news, I don't know if you've read any of their comics before, but I've only read like one thing, but I'm excited. So in the news, they have Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. Rumor is they're developing a buddy cop type film for the duo.
I think this is interesting. I know very little about Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, but from what I do know, like, this would be the perfect kind of film.
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. They're best buds. It's the one I read. I'm trying to think. I think it was called Blue and Gold or Booster Gold, Blue and Gold. But yeah, no, they're best buddies. They're pals. The comic that I actually read of them was when, spoiler alerts for a comic that's not in continuity anymore. Blue Beetle died, and Booster Gold wanted to save his friend. Long story short, we don't have to get too much into it, but it was a story about Booster Gold. He's like a Time Lord. And he has a lot to do with the Rick Hunter guy that's in the new DC TV show on the Warner Brothers.
Rip Hunter.
Rip Hunter. Yeah, sorry, Rip. Not Rick, sorry.
Rick
Hunter.
Flag is in the Suicide Squad. I know, you can't, it's hard to keep them all together.
Yeah. And so them two are kind of like Time Lords, and Booster Gold, he comes off as like comical and goofy and whatever, but like in the comic you realize he actually saved the DC universe. And he can't tell anybody. That's the thing. He has to be this huge hero, and he can't tell. Like, he does tell people, they don't believe him. They're like, okay, Booster Gold at it again, and basically what he is, he's a guy from the future. He got caught up with the wrong things. He puts together a suit that he has in a museum. He puts together a suit and goes back to the past. Well, of course, the technology then is so far advanced that he looks like and he is a superhero nowadays. And so, he's kind of just this guy that, he was a good person, but he did some bad things, and it was for good reasons. It's comic book reasons. He wanted to get his mom medicine. He couldn't afford it, so he played football, so he screwed up in some games just to get money for betting and whatnot. So anyway, so in the comic that I read of them, they were best friends, and the whole story was about the relationship and him wanting to save Blue Beetle so bad that he was willing to screw everything up to do it. And of course, in comic books, he kind of realizes, I made a big mess of things, and what can I do to save my friend? Because that's more important, to him. So yeah, that's how strong their bromance is. So it's really cool. And Beetle's kind of like a Batman. He's just a millionaire that has a really cool suit and tech and stuff like that. He's got a beetle blimp or beetle ship that flies in the air. It's like the shape of a beetle. But you want to say who's working on it?
They've got Greg Berlanti, who's doing all the awesome DC TV stuff. He's set to executive produce, and they're trying to get Zach Penn to write it. Now
that's cool.
he worked on some of the X-Men movies. He's got a story credit on the Avengers, and he also wrote the screenplay for Ready Player One.
Nice.
So
that's a pedigree.
Yeah, that's quite a guy to have for a comic book movie for sure.
Oh yeah. No, Aaron at the comic shop.
Yeah.
He's always telling me about Booster Gold, and like, you should read this. And like in the New 52, he played a major part too. Like, there was a point in early New 52 where his future self comes and tells him, you need to stop this from happening. And what he shows him is Superman and Wonder Woman in a relationship, and he was like, their relationship will destroy everything. And they actually just that story's still going on with Convergence and whatnot. It all played into that. So I think Booster Gold's not in a series right now. I could be wrong. He's coming up in something.
He had a series, or he's getting ready to have a series or something.
Well, he was in Justice League International, and when International ended, I remember reading it. That's when his future self was like, you need to stop this from happening, and then he disappeared. And then so did Booster Gold. He disappeared. He faded away. Huh. And he was like, wait, I gotta stop it, and then he went away. At least that's what I think happened. I know he was in some Convergence stuff because I remember reading some of it,
right.
But I'm a little foggy now on what exactly happened. but he's a cool character. When I heard that it's Rip Hunter, when I heard that he was going to be they were doing the show and that it was going to be a Time Lord and all this other stuff, of course you think Doctor Who. But I thought, no, that's Booster Gold. Like, that's exactly who I was thinking. But it actually makes more sense that it's Rip Hunter because it's a time machine and all that other stuff. But yeah, man, I'm excited for that. That's cool. I'm more excited for that than Shazam or something.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and it's different. It looks that series would be totally different.
Yeah, just to see Warner Brothers do a DC movie that had color.
Yeah, and not to kind of trickle in what we're going to be talking about later, Quiver. There's a scene in the comic Quiver where he's like, all of these guys are laughing, and that's the worst trait. And then he's like, well, except for Batman, because he's the only one that doesn't do that. And I'm thinking in my head when I was reading it, I was like, how ironic that nowadays they're trying to make them all like Batman, when in the
Yeah.
comics they clearly none of them were like Batman. Green Arrow, all of them were all making jokes and quips, and it was funny. And how much it's changed, because in the movies they're all trying to make it like Dark Knight. They're all trying to make him brooding and dark. And yeah, Booster Gold and Blue Beetle are not. They're fun. At least in the comic that I was reading, it just seemed like it was a really fun comic to read. I highly recommend that, man. It came out like 2008. Jeff Johns wrote it. He writes everything.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Jeff John and Jeff Katz. So maybe we'll put that in one of our comics down the road.
There we
things
go.
to read. Yeah, but yeah, man. So we got some more movie news. You take the next one. I don't like names.
You don't like names? All right. I'm gonna jump back up one here.
Mm-hmm.
Akiva Goldsman has been tapped to write Transformers 5.
Okay.
And some people will point to the fact that he's done some really great movies, and he has quite a resume that also includes both Schumacher Batman films.
Right.
So, those when it comes to like, hey, it's sci-fi or fantasy or something of that nature, I'm not going to put up any of the really awesome stuff that he has done, and credit to him for that. I'm going to say, yeah, when he tried this, we got Tommy Lee Jones Two-Face and Freeze,
Right. Well, I mean, I don't know about you, but I liked Batman Forever as a kid. I really enjoyed that film.
They're fun kids movies. I'm
Well,
happy to
I was a kid.
Yeah, that was a point. But the problem is, once you hit the age of rational thought, you look at these movies and you think, oh my God.
Yeah, no, I mean, see, that's that weird line that I try to balance sometimes when I don't want to judge a film too hard. I try to think, when I was a kid, I liked dumb shit too.
Yeah.
So why can't a kid like Transformers? Some adult gonna tell someone something's bad when it's like, hey, they're kids. They don't know better, and it's big. I don't know. So Transformers 5 to begin with, if you don't like this series and it's bad for you, stop going to see it. That's one thing I don't. Did you I don't know, have the numbers in front of me, but how much the last Transformers brought in?
Billions. Every one of these movies makes like $1 billion. Every one of them.
Yeah, and the last one did even more because of China. So it's not gonna stop. It's just gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's one of those things where if you're already on board, you're probably gonna either see it in the theater or rent it or whatever. If you're not, I don't want to hear about it anymore. It's not the series for you. I don't know. That's kind of hard to say. I shouldn't say that, but it's.
Well, I mean, it's one thing. Look.
Kids love it. That's the thing.
I agree, but there's a difference between objective quality and personal taste.
Right.
These these movies suck.
Yeah.
They do. The first one was and then they just kind of went downhill from there, more or less. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's just objectively bad. Yeah. But if you want to go and watch a movie, look, I love Days of Thunder. Not even for an 80s movie, not the best made movie on the planet. But I love the hell out of it. I'll watch it 6 times a day. I don't care.
Yeah.
But so many people that I talk to about Transformers try to actually defend it. And not like you did. It's perfect. It's like with the Ninja Turtles movie. I see why people would have a problem with it, but it's for kids.
Right.
And I get that totally. It's merchandising and everything, and that's fine. But they try to actually defend, the writing or the acting, and it just,
Right, exactly. It's like when I went and saw the new Ninja Turtles film, I actually liked it. To me, it was a lot like what I remember the cartoons being like. Now, granted, people had issues with the way they looked, but they acted just the same. That Mikey was still the funny one. Raph was a serious, brooding one. Leo was I'm trying to be the leader, and Donatello was the smart guy. They actually made him geeky. They made him how he was, I remembered in the cartoons. So
yeah. When
people were getting on it about writing and stuff like that, I guess what you're saying, I'm like, who cares? It's not made for you. It's his, he wasn't writing A Beautiful Mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it is what it is. So yeah, I mean, that's cool. Did they even say? I thought I read they were doing a Transformers universe, right? Isn't that
yeah
what they're doing? So I'm sure they'll get into prequels and stuff like that. And Whatever.
Dad is playing chopsticks with chopsticks.
Oh yeah,
I loved it.
oh yeah.
I loved
We
it.
skipped ahead a little bit, didn't we? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump all over the place.
That's all right.
Do we talked about Rocket League?
Well, we mentioned it, but we had to backtrack to the Star Wars news.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, you take this one.
This I don't know what to make of this. Psyonix, who developed Rocket League, which I think everybody who owns a PS4 has downloaded by now.
Right.
And if you haven't, you should, because it's ridiculously fun to play for free.
Absolutely.
It's insane how fun this is. Psyonix has had meetings with different people and different companies about turning this into a TV series or like a movie. And at face value, you think, okay, Rocket League is about people who use cars to play giant soccer. And you think, how does that work as a TV show?
Yeah.
And then you really think about it, and you think, well, no, hang on. They've made anime about things that are kind of like this.
Mm-hmm.
You could make it work. It can't be
absolutely.
Like,
this would work totally.
It's a great merchandising thing. This would make a great cartoon.
Oh, give me Days of Thunder Rocket League.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, like
dude, take my money. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's I heard this somewhere else where they're like, how could they make a movie out of that? And they're like, how could they not? You just it's a video game. Yes, it's about you're in a car, a big ball, whatever. You just make a film out of it about that thing happening in real life and it being that over the top and that out of control. Why not? You just make it about a guy and you tell his story.
It's FIFA meets Speed Racer.
Exactly, and that's where the writing comes into play and the creativity. You make a good story out of it.
Totally.
Like, there's so many things that really have no, meat to it that they've made brilliant things out of. So, Ninja Turtles, for example,
Yeah,
they made an entire monster of a franchise out of two guys getting drunk one night going, hey, what if we had just turtles that were ninjas and they were teenagers and mutated? Well, that'd be awesome, and bam.
Totally.
Just money. So
it can work.
Yeah. We're going to take another break. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. And, man, we got some more news. Got a lot more news. Got some Tomb Raider news.
Yeah, this was some interesting news.
Yeah. Catherine Bigelow from Hurt Locker. Her and Catherine Hardwicke.
Yeah.
From Twilight, the writers. And Mimi Leader, Deep Impact, are room to frontrunners to direct the film. Oh, okay, directors. I'm sorry. Are the writers too, right? Catherine directed, but
yeah. No, they all directed. I know. Oh,
I can be wrong. I'm probably wrong. Let's just go with that. I was wrong.
I think that something like when you said that, something jumped out at me. So I'm gonna I'll check that, but we'll keep talking. But yeah,
it's all good. Yeah, no.
Like I know that, and that's a list, and that's an odd list.
Oh yeah.
Really, you've got Mimi Leader from Deep Impact, and you've got Bigelow from The Hurt Locker and Zero Dark 30, and then you've got Catherine Hardwicke from Twilight.
Right, it's strange. Like Catherine Bigelow, she wasn't rumored to be for Captain Marvel at some point?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So that's where I thought it from. Like, she's done some big films, like great films, and even won the Academy Award for them. Right? Like that's huge. So that's good. I hope they kind of go the route they did with the new games.
Oh well, they'd have to.
Yeah. I really hope they do because like that's one series. Damn it, Destiny! Like, it's really starting to hit me. Like, okay, Adam, you need to back away from Destiny because it's kind of all you're playing. And that's the problem with games like those where they get the hooks in you. And like last night, my buddy who I don't really play with that much, he's a police officer, and he's got a family, does his own thing. He only gets a few hours sometimes, and it's when like everyone's asleep and he's getting his own time. And he's like, "Yo, let's play." So we played, and we it was fun, and it was just so much fun. So like, I don't know, I think I was gonna like read a comic or something like that instead, but nope. I was like, my buddy's on, gonna play, and it gets the hooks in me. But I need to get back to games like Tomb Raider. That's on my backlog. I have so many games, and I'm blessed. I'm not complaining. To have on my backlog, and that's one I really want to get back to. But I got enough time because it's not coming out. The second one's not coming out for a while for PlayStation.
Yeah, we've got an extra year, so you're good.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. But what I've played of it, I've really liked so far. So that's cool. Gonna be interesting to see what comes out first. I assume Uncharted would come out first in the movies than Tomb Raider because that actually has a lot of things behind it at the moment, right?
Right. Well, like Uncharted has, like it has a release date for one thing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Like this is just something that's like, hey, this is a thing,
Hmm.
maybe.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So that's cool. I'm excited for that. Star Trek 3, Paramount moves release date to July 22nd,
I,
2016.
I love this story. This story really made me laugh.
Yeah, due to commitments to Warner Brothers Tarzan.
Yeah, Warner Brothers booked all the IMAX theaters for Tarzan when it comes out on July 1st. First? No. Yeah. I don't. Yeah, first on the first, and like that runs like it. They have that hold for what, like 2 weeks, I think, for a week or 2 weeks, and so uh they wouldn't be able to get Paramount wouldn't be able to get Star Trek on any IMAX screens.
Oh wow, yeah.
And the thing
No.
is, if they had left it where it was on the 8th, its biggest competition would have been The Secret Life of Pets, I
Oh
think.
wow.
But now it drops the same time as, and it's terrible. I can't remember because this was the best part. Like they went from having to deal with The Secret Life of Pets being their big box office competition to now there's two. There's one from Warner Brothers and then there's something else. It's what's coming out from Warner Brothers?
Power
Uh
Rangers?
no, 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 no. It's a Knights of the Round Table. That's right. They're opening against the new King Arthur story with
Oh
Charlie
wow.
Hunnam, Knights of the Round Table, and the next Ice Age movie is
And
the
Power
other one.
Rangers.
And Power Rangers?
Yeah, I mean, I looked up that date, for example, and everything I see is Power Rangers. Power Rangers, Power Rangers gets release date July 22nd, 2016.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, did they get screwed?
That'd be a good weekend at the movies though.
Well, yeah, but not, like in general, sure, but
No.
not
Yeah, no,
for any one particular movie.
exactly. And I'm sure Power Rangers, whoever, is going to get out of the way of Star Trek.
Uh,
No, I think so.
well,
Star
yeah.
Trek's a bigger franchise. I mean, we love Power Rangers, and we're gonna go see it, and I'm sure kids are too. But it hasn't done anything for years, so I don't know. I honestly wish Star Trek was back on TV. Like, what's going on? Like that needs to happen. Someone needs to pick up Star Trek, even if it's Netflix. And that wouldn't that be so cool? A 10 episode Star Trek show. Give me a next generation Star Trek, 10 episodes. It doesn't matter what time or what's going on in it. That would be dope. That's just wishful thinking, wishful dreaming. Um, but yeah, man, you like the last two Star Trek films, right?
I did, even Into Darkness, which had its the thing with Into Darkness was like we missed a movie
Right.
because we ended Star Trek with like, okay, now the crew's all together, and then we started Into Darkness with, hey, the crew all likes each other and has a really great rapport.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like, hey, hang on, we missed. Whoa, what time out here?
Oh yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think that's the thing. That's why I'm saying like I enjoy the Star Trek more as a TV franchise because you get more time, you get more intimate time spending with them, and you find out what they do throughout their days, and like that's why I really love Next Gen. Like that's one show if you haven't gone back and rewatched, go do it. I think it's still on Netflix. It's amazing. Like that's one show that I truly enjoy. And I've gone back and seen it a few times, and I'm like, this is great. It still holds up. Like Riker's still a boss, and like it's really good. Once he gets the beard,
Yeah.
it's done. Like he's the man in the show. So, and Picard, he's my favorite captain. Like he's just awesome. Like like that. I don't know. Like that show's amazing. So I hope they do something TV wise, but we'll see. Um, this one is some sad news.
Sad news.
Sad news. Am I skipping around? Um, oh wait, no, this is some good news. Okay, woo! I'm
It
sorry,
started.
I didn't read the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, when I read this article, um, okay, so we'll just say it. Pacific Rim was rumored to be canceled, the sequel to it.
Right.
But Del Toro announced production is only delayed, script and budget to be turned in a few weeks. Thank God. Okay, because yeah, you know, a little bit behind the scenes, a lot of the notes come from Logan and whatnot, and so yeah, I read the first part of this earlier in the week, and I was just like, wow, that sucks. And I saw you post it and everything else. I'm glad that it was just delayed.
Yeah, it
That's
was
good.
there. Like there were like there were rumors, and it was like, well, it's been delayed once, and now there's talk that it's just been shelved. But
Yeah.
Del Toro did an interview. I forget. I think it was with IGN. And when he said no, he said, I'm doing a little movie in between, so maybe that's pushed it back if the studio will allow, but no, we're still, we're writing the script, and we're coming up with the budget. No, it's still very much alive.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, man. I really want to see Hellboy 3. Oh man, yeah. No, I don't mean to jump off topic there, but I really like his films. They just feel different.
Yeah.
You know, they feel really different. Pacific Rim, I think, was hyped too much up for me before I saw it. But I want to see a second one. So that's good. I didn't want it to be canceled or anything like that. We
Yeah.
got some Ghostbusters news.
Yeah, this kind of came out of nowhere. Just because it was great because it was updated. Like when they first posted the picture, it was like, and filming is wrapped, and then like underneath it was like, update, Ernie Hudson was on set and shot a scene before we wrapped. I was like, no, wait a minute, you lead with that.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome.
But so that's so they got two that we know of.
Right, getting the gang back together.
That's that and I'm all for this. Like when I heard it announced, I was I know some people were upset because that's what happens on the internet. But
Right.
I thought, why not just why not go for it? It's I would much rather prefer, if they're gonna remake something, go in a totally different direction from it.
Mhm.
Do something different, do something outside the box. Why not?
Well, yeah, I mean, my friends that are huge Ghostbusters fans, and that's what I find is that Ghostbusters fans are the kids, I say kids, but the people that were a little bit older than us. Ours was Ninja Turtles, theirs was Ghostbusters. That's the gist that I get of it. It's like once you were born between a certain year in the 80s, you were either or fan. Um, and so, I like Ghostbusters just as much as anyone else, but it seems like my friends that really liked it, they're not happy with it. They don't want it to be this like expanded universe, multi-film thing. They kind of liked it how it was, especially the first one, but, when they came out and they're like, we're gonna do an all guy film and an all girl film, it was cringeworthy. It was like, why?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? I love the different idea. I love the all female cast. The all guy one seems weird after that though. It's like, why can't that just be a part of the sequel or whatever's gonna happen? So I guess we'll find out. But I
Well, I
do
don't
like
think
some of the old cast coming back.
I don't think they're doing the other one anymore.
Oh, they're not?
I don't
Good.
think so.
Okay, good. That was just a silly thing to like come
Yeah.
out with, and like, oh, we're gonna do a guy. No, 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 no. Let's work on one. If it's great, let's work on a sequel.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Like let's one giant marshmallow foot in front of the other here.
exactly. Oh yeah. You know what I saw the other day at the comic shop, and I actually wanted to get. I think I'm gonna be getting it this week. There's a Ghostbusters Ninja Turtles crossover.
Oh, is that yeah, IDW, right?
Yeah, yeah, they did a Ninja. That's one series I really need to catch up on. There's so much I want to read. That I talked about Destiny earlier, and that's like the fifth time I brought it up. But when I was saying how like, oh, I wanted to read a comic or whatever, that's what I was talking about. Like I kind of wanted to get away and read a lot more because there's a lot more backlog that I haven't read that I really want to get into. But we'll talk about all that later. Did you see the Peanuts trailer?
I did not. No, tell me about it.
It is like a G-rated South Park Stick of Truth game. a movie.
Okay.
For anyone that doesn't know what I just said, it really hit me that the Peanuts really are just it's South Park, but it's it's an old fashioned. It's a sign of its times. South Park,
Totally.
or I should say, South Park is what Peanuts is, but for a 2000 or 1998 or whenever it came out generation. It was the same exact story. It was like it was the kids. You're seeing it through the point of view of Charlie Brown, and then a neighbor comes in. It's the new guy in town, and Charlie Brown doesn't want to screw it up, and Charlie Brown just really wants to be noticed, and he's tired of screwing everything up, and it had Snoopy and a bunch of other fun stuff that I'm sure kids are gonna love. But it really hit me as like, oh, this is like South Park, but like something I could watch with my grandparents and my kids, you know. But
Interesting way to look at it. I'd never thought about that before. But yeah, there are, content aside, there are a lot of like thematic similarities. I didn't think about
oh,
that before.
oh yeah, South Park is an R-rated Peanuts comic. It really is because it's the same thing. These kids they're talking about kid stuff. They're doing what kids did back then. They're sledding. They're doing all this stuff. South Park was the same thing. They were just cussing all the time and kind of saying more adult things and dealing with adult situations. Where Peanuts was like, oh man, I'm gonna run and kick the ball or whatever. Don't
Yeah.
lift it up. It
Uh,
was. Yeah, it was just it was a good one. But yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit more. We got some lot more TV news and whatnot to happen. And again, you're listening to We Geek podcast on the N.FM. We'll be right back. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast, live adjacent on the N.FM. And yeah, we got a lot more news to talk about. One more little thing before we get into the TV news. There is a website out there where you can make your own Peanuts character or whatever.
oh, I did do that. Did you make one?
I made one, yeah. Maybe I'll share it on the page. But I thought that was cute. That was cool. Yeah, man, we got a lot of TV stuff. You take the first one because I know you're a big fan of this.
This bummed me out. Like it was a rumor, like not too long after we went off the air last
Right.
week,
Yeah.
that Jenna Coleman, who plays Claire Oswald on Doctor Who, is leaving the show,
For the
and
third time, right?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I thought. See, that when I read this news, I thought that already happened before, and then I was surprised to see her in all the new promos and stuff. I'm like, oh, she didn't go anywhere. That's awesome.
Yeah, but then she officially confirmed. She's like, no, I've done my last shot in the TARDIS. Cause she's going on to play. She's doing another royalty program over on British TV.
Okay.
I totally
Okay.
forgot, but like it is a big deal. I'm sorry, I'm making it sound really trivial because I'm a Whovian and that's really the only British TV I watch. So.
Right.
But
Yeah.
man, this bummed me out because I thought, okay, well, I hate seeing companions go because it's always sad.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there, let's see, I'm trying to think of the ones that I watched. I'm trying to think, it was Matt's run.
Yeah, you had Amy and Rory.
Right. I really liked that couple and how they did everything. I haven't seen anything from the new Doctor, and I know I have no excuse. It's all on Netflix now. That's one series I need to get back into.
Especially since it's back on for another season. That's going to be part of our reviews now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about it. I'm not waiting on you.
Right? No, don't. Yeah, I'm gonna catch up. I think I'm 2 seasons behind, so I should be good. No, I'm 1 season. They only did 1 season since I've stopped watching it, right?
When did you stop watching it?
The new Doctor. Has he been?
Oh yeah. No, just one.
Okay, so I just need to catch up on 1 season. That's not a problem. I can do that this week or when I get back from this weekend. I'll do that. I'll catch up. But yeah, no, it's she was just it was a weird how they put her in there was just strange to me.
Well, they did fix. They do explain it. In their fashion, really.
Okay, good. Yeah, man. I'm excited for that Lego Dimensions game though, with all of them in it. With all the doctors, every time you die, you're brought back as one of the other doctors.
Yeah, that's a cool mechanic. I like that. It's a nice touch.
Oh yeah. And I saw like a Let's Play where they show when you actually go in the TARDIS, and it's whatever doctor you are, the TARDIS inside is that version. and it's different every time. Every time you're a new doctor.
Right. Yeah.
And so, oh man, but yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, man, I need to get back into that series. We got some Daredevil news, just a little
Yes.
bit. Original showrunner says that he's going to stay involved into the second season. So
Yeah. And
that's good.
I forgot his name. Drew Goddard, I think, is that it? I
Probably.
think that's his name. I hope that's his name. But yeah, like, well, because there was a lot of talk like he didn't come back because of some falling out, and he made it a point to say no, 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 no. I love Marvel. We're still working together. Actually, he's just not as involved, but he does have input with the second season still.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It says here with Doug. Oh no, no, no. Oh yeah, Stephen D. Knight.
Right.
He was supposed to exit, and so I guess he didn't.
Interesting.
Um, yeah, at least that's what this article on Variety says. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I want Punisher. I want all that stuff. I'm excited for Jessica Jones. It's so close. When's Jessica Jones? The
November
exact date?
20th.
Yeah, we're right around the corner for that.
Just 2 months, man. Just 2 months. A little less than 2 months, actually.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And
Got
did
David Tennant in that too, huh?
Yes. We'll jump to this. Did you see the cast images?
No, no. I mean, I didn't. I guess I've seen him as the Purple Man already. Did they like show it again or?
Well, it was they put up a handful of like production
Like
shots.
official.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and it shows each of them. Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones, Tennant as Kilgrave as the Purple Man, Mike Coulter as Luke Cage, and Rachel Taylor as Hellcat, who I forgot
Okay.
was on this.
Yeah, no, I saw the Luke Cage one. Okay, yeah, I saw this
Yeah,
article. Yeah, no, I see him as a Purple Man. That's cool.
Tennant looks so badass.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't wait for this. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. There's so much talent in this. It's gonna be good. Yeah, I see him here in his purple suit, so that's cool. That's totally cool. Yeah, I'm all for this. It's a different series. Maybe one of our books we'll put in our polls or whatever we do. Maybe one of the books we read the next month or two will be Jessica Jones. It's called
Alias.
Alias.
Yes.
Right, yeah, Alias. Brian Michael Bendis.
So good. So good. Oh my god.
Oh, okay, so you've already read it.
I've read it twice. I'll go back and read it a third time.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
care.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's one of the ones that we should definitely put in there and check it out. And our listeners really need to read that because it is really good. It was Brian Michael Bendis was able to kind of like break the shell and like do like an R-rated comic. I
Yeah,
think like first word in there, he just a curse word immediately. I'm curious to see if they do that on the show.
Oh well, I don't know. Or
There's
something similar.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of things I'm curious if they're gonna put in the show.
Yeah,
But
because it was a Max title. It was another Marvel Max title.
yep, it was a Max title where they were like, okay, well this you can curse and you can do adult rated things and you can kind of it's way more mature and a lot of people liked that. I believe the other one there was one I read. I believe it was the Punisher Max series. They have a Wolverine one. I think they have an Iron Fist one.
They had an Iron Fist one. They had a Nick Fury one. They had a Deadpool one. They had a Phantom X one.
Yeah.
They had a Hyperion one. They had two Hyperion ones, I think, actually.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
They had Max. They had a good deal of Max books.
Mm-hmm.
But the Punisher is still head and shoulders off above the rest of them, really.
Right.
It's so good. Garth Ennis is that's some of his best work.
Yeah, no doubt, absolutely. We got some. Let's see here. Taken. NBC gives straight to series order for prequel to the Taken trilogy.
Yeah.
Show reportedly follow young Brian Mills.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this?
Yeah, it's gonna follow Neeson's character like through his actual career before the family and all of that.
Okay, so it's just going to be him, like, probably not him,
yeah,
but some actor playing his character and just being a badass, I guess.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm good. I'm good with taking stuff. I doubt that's something I'd watch, but who knows? I'm really kind of done with those kind of films unless it brings something new to the table.
Yeah.
But like, I hope he does something different. Like the next time I see his name or his face on a trailer, I want it to be something just different, something that he's not used to doing. Yeah. So I don't know. Um,
Hey,
you want? Yeah, take
if
this next one here.
yeah, I was gonna say if De Niro can do the intern, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Exactly. I just want something different from him because he's a great actor. But it's like, how many times are we going to see you running around streets with a gun? Like, it's every film you do.
yeah.
He's a great actor and I love seeing him, but it's kind of run its course with those. It's like, do something different, man. Break into something else. Keanu Reeves is kind of taking your thunder now because his movie was actually like, whoa, this is different, you know? Um,
Really? Whoa.
yeah,
Really?
exactly. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, man, you take the next one here.
I did like the news about the mist. That was good news.
Oh, we skipped that.
We did.
Oh wow.
I know they were a little like we're like well because I jumped it because we went to Jessica Jones.
Ah,
Uh,
yeah.
I'll format these better next time, I promise. But
It's good.
the Dimension Television from the Weinstein Company, they are this is a thing that's been kind of rumored off and on for what 5 years now, I think, that they've been trying to get a TV series based on the movie, based on the Stephen King novella that started this whole thing off the ground. And
Right.
they're finally starting to move forward to it. And Christian Torp, who's his shows, his biggest one was Rita, but they're all somewhere in the Scandinavian region.
Hmm.
I don't want to say like they're Danish, they're Norwegian, they're Swedish, they're because I don't know which one. I'm sorry,
Okay.
but they're it's over there, and you notice they're bringing a lot more people from over there in.
Yeah. Yeah.
There've been a couple that they're bringing in to write and to act.
Oh yeah.
And hey, talent, bring the talent. I don't care where it comes from. Bring the
Oh
talent.
yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And we talked about it. I think last week or the week before. Well, somehow we brought it up. But the Mist is something I wanted to see more in that world, that universe. What was happening, what was going down? Because we only see a brief moment, and it's in like. And it's a cool story. Don't get me wrong. I liked that story. I never read the book, but in the movie, I really did enjoy it. And I thought, I want to know more about this. Like, there's something really creepy going on here, and what all of this was. And I liked how they didn't really explain during it. They were just like, this shit's happening. And like, some people thought it was just, hell, and hell's now here. While others were like, let's be a little bit more optimistic and let's like live, and not try and kill everybody. I really like to see like what people would do in that situation.
Yeah,
You're in a grocery store with, next time you go to a grocery store, look around and think like, what would happen if you were stuck in a place like that and that would happen? How many of those people would just lose their minds and literally go crazy? And so I really thought that was a cool idea, and I kind of wanted to see more of that. We haven't. So, hey, cool TV show, awesome.
big time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. Do the Game of Thrones ones.
Yeah, because we had some casting news about the Tarleys,
Mhm.
about Sam's family. James Faulkner from Downton Abbey was cast as Randall Tarley, his father.
Mhm.
Uh, Samantha Spiro, who was in From Hell, was cast as his mother, Melissa Tarley, and Rebecca Benson, who's been in very little. She's kind of a new talent, has been cast as his sister Tala.
Okay.
So that's interesting. That's going to bring a different angle because Randall Tarley has kind of a reputation. Like he's kind of he's a hard-headed kind of made of steel kind of guy, if I remember right.
Yeah, there's so many characters in this series now.
Yeah, and
Like,
there won't be by the end of next season.
yeah, yeah,
Same as
no doubt.
always.
Yeah, yeah. I was looking. I was like, wow, like how many? Looking at these names, and I recognize the last names and whatnot. I'm just like, it's getting so big. It is getting incredibly big. Like it's really hard now to start like memorizing. Okay, who is who and who's where, and did you see uh what was it, the Emmys?
Yeah, where it won everything basically.
Right, yeah. And Peter Dinklage was just like, I wasn't expecting it, and he just kind of said roughly at the end, he's like, "Thank you to literally thousands of the cast, because there's thousands of you."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and there was some big winners that night, like Viola Davis won, John Hamm won. It was big. It was a big night. I didn't actually watch most of it because I was watching the Packers, but it was all over my Facebook and all over the news and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
No,
that's awesome.
yeah, I actually do want to go back and like watch it, just
Oh yeah.
for the fun of it.
Oh yeah, I saw that she had a great speech, and like there was just a lot of cool moments and stuff that I heard. I kind of want to go back and watch it. All right, man, and we'll be right back. Actually, we're gonna take a break. Again, you're listening to We Geek podcast on the N.FM. Be right back. Welcome back. You're listening to We Geek podcast on the N.FM, and yeah, man, we got some more news. We got a little bit more TV news. Then we'll get into video games. I saw that. Did you see the first picture of Supergirl? Of Red Tornado?
I did, man. He looks like a crayon.
Yeah, he looks like a bad Vision.
It's bad. Like it's bad, and I hope it's just a bad picture. But I'm worried if like that was the one they decided, hey, this is the best production shot we have. I'm worried.
Yeah,
I'm
it doesn't
very
look
worried.
good, and it looks odd. It looks very odd.
Yeah.
It's like even I don't know if it's the color scheme or what, but it just like the Vision when you see him in the theater, it's like, whoa, that looks cool, that looks neat, looks different. It's like, I don't know, it's weird.
I've seen better looking Power Rangers villains.
My mind was going that direction. I was like, it looks like a Power Ranger villain.
I can totally understand that.
Yeah, it looks odd. So, who knows? I really enjoyed the pilot episode of that. I thought it was really good. But here's to looking at more of it. I'm kind of glad they are getting a lot of that stuff into there, like Red Tornado and whatnot. Who knows? Maybe this was like, let's get some feedback. They can always kind of adjust it in the writing. And change it a little bit. Like, oh, hi, this is my second form. But yeah.
Damn it, Frieza.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. We got some. This was some strange news. You take it. I saw you post this.
Yeah, this was odd news. Stars is working on a new comedy horror movie. It's gonna be it's half-hour episodes. And it's being the really good news is Joey Slamon from Arrested Development is writing it, and I know many people will find that good news.
Yep.
The odd part of the news is that not only is Rob Zombie directing it, but he's co-producing it with Mila Kunis.
Right. I don't understand that.
That just came out of nowhere to me. Like I didn't know this was something she did.
Right. Were they in a bar one night and ran into each other and was like, "Hey, I like your work. Hey, I like your work. Let's do something." Like it's so odd.
Hey.
Yeah. It's it's very odd. Did they say like, cuz this when you say comedy horror, I just saw, didn't something come out called Scream Queens or something?
Right, yeah, that premiered on, it premiered on Tuesday night. It's on Fox. But
okay.
This is, the synopsis that I saw basically painted it as, like, did you ever see Your Next?
No, I didn't.
Okay. It's about a family and there've been a million movies like these. That one was just the most recent one I could think of. The family's trapped in a house and people are trying to kill them, and there's your premise.
Right. So, I remember they had animal masks and whatnot on, like the WWE dude.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's, so that's the premise, and it's going to be a horror comedy. Okay. Why not? I mean, it can work, sure. We see it
Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, like it can totally work. I don't know. It's interesting, and it's gonna be on Stars, so it's gonna be. Right. Hey, they need programming.
Yeah, and they can actually do a lot more on Stars.
Totally.
Yeah, especially when it comes to the horror side of it. Well, that's cool. That's cool. Now this next news. Before I should ask, did you see Gotham
I
season
did.
premiere? Okay, all right. Yeah, I haven't seen that. That's something I need to get into. There's so much I missed this week, but I promise next week I'll be caught up. But I see here showrunner Bruno Heller confirms Court of the Owls to be introduced at some point in the future, which is cool.
Yes, that's because
Yeah,
that was such a cool story. I love
yeah,
that
yeah.
story.
That's probably to me that's the best thing Snyder did in the Batman. He's done a lot of great stuff. Like I think honestly, and when it's all said and done, and people list like top 5 Batman writers and creators or whatever, he's got to be on that list.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, hands down.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. So it's been really good stuff, and so that makes perfect sense. I mean, they're going to change it a little bit, of course, because Bruce is a kid, and they're being introduced now instead of later on when he's an adult and Batman and blah blah blah. Who cares? Whatever. Let's enjoy it. I want to enjoy the story. I actually heard good things about the season premiere, so I'm excited to see that. I might actually watch that when we're done here. I have it on the DVR, so.
There you go.
But yeah, dude, Court of Owls, that's one of my favorite. If you guys listening have not read the Volume 1, it's Volume 1 and Volume 2 of Snyder's run, the DC New 52 Batman?
I think it really picks up in Volume 2.
Okay, all right.
I may and now I may be wrong. My advice is just go out and buy the set that comes with the mask.
Right. No, well, I mean, the first volume is called Court of Owls.
Oh, is it? Okay, well.
Yeah, because I remember it opening up and it's talking about the city and it looks like a bat and blah 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 blah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
first.
Yeah, I just thought they were kind of mentioned early on and then they came into play later.
Well, yeah, Volume 2 is City of Owls.
Yeah,
so
that's
it
what
really
I was
gets into it then. Yeah. And then, like you said, then you got Death of the Family, and you could go on and on and on. It's all really good stuff, and like especially the new stuff, it's so different. I've caught up now with Batman, and I really like what they're doing. And I just read one of his last, the last issue they did, and it wasn't actually Greg Capullo, it was Jock, who does Witches with him, and it was this one-off story about Penguin and this kid that lives. I don't know. I don't want to get too much into it, but it was a really good like one issue thing. I recommend definitely reading it
Nice.
if you haven't. Yeah. But man, let's get into some video game news because we've got a lot of news still to go. Uncharted 4 multiplayer beta has been announced to run December 4th through the 13th.
Yes.
Requires a copy of Nathan Drake Collection.
Yeah, you have to and this is the way that I read it. Like it seemed to say like if you don't have the Nathan Drake collection, then you don't get into the Uncharted 4 beta.
Makes sense, and that's actually a really good collection app. I'll be getting that.
Yeah.
Just because those games are so good. The second and third one especially. Someone told me they started playing it and they didn't like the first one.
That's understandable. The first one's a little slower.
Right, and they were like, that's why I stopped and I didn't even attempt to play the other ones. And I was like, no, you really are doing yourself a disservice. Go read the wiki on the first one, get the story, get the basics. You don't even really need that, and play 2 on, and you'll be set. And once you start playing 2 and you realize, oh, this is fun, you'll be fine. So, that's cool. I'm really excited for the new Uncharted, and man, I can't wait. Speaking of beta news, Star Wars Battlefront announced that their beta is going to include it's going to be open to everyone and include offline mode.
Yes.
So that's awesome. I know a lot of my friends don't like playing multiplayer games, but they're really itching for a Star Wars game. So that's cool. You don't have to play with people, you can play with bots.
Totally.
Yeah, and that's freaking awesome. Did you see that video of the guy who posted like 15 minutes of him on Hoth?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, and it's really good. Like it was really different than what I'm used to because it was third person the whole time.
Right.
And he's shooting people from so far away. The way the targeting system, it's not like Call of Duty. It's not like Battlefield. I'm sure when he went into first person mode, it would look like Battlefield, but the way he was shooting, it was almost better looking in third person because you had a bigger view distance. So like he was hitting people from so far, and they were like, and you could see them commenting. They were like, "How is this guy doing this? Like, how is he hitting us this far away?" They were probably playing first person while he was playing third person, like the old classic
Yeah.
Battlefront games. And it just looked cool. Like it just looked like a big, just cluster of a Star Wars battle going on, and that's what we want in that kind of game. So.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
I can't. Like every week I go put another 5 on my pre-order.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. Um, got some Konami news because it's another week.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, earlier in the week, I don't know if it was this week or last week.
It was what like third. I want to say it was like Wednesday or Thursday or
No,
something.
it wasn't an official thing, right? It was like someone said it. Like they came out and I don't think it was an official thing that Konami was. Basically, the story is Konami halts all AAA console titles productions except for the Pro Evolution Soccer. But apparently, Konami rep has come out and said that they're still going to be making AAA games in the future. So it's a really odd news article.
That's a weird way of saying it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, apparently they were speaking, said Konami member customer service said, I can promise you we're going to be definitely not leaving Metal Gear behind or anything like that. I know some blogs are claiming that online this morning, but I'm not really sure where they're getting that from. We're still definitely making and working on console games and franchises such as Metal Gear, Silent Hill, Castlevania, PES, and the rest. And the PES, I believe, is soccer, right?
Yeah,
so,
Pro Evolution Soccer. Yeah, the
Soccer.
soccer game that nobody plays.
Right. You got FIFA. I'm sure it's got a fan base that we're overlooking, but yeah. So
Right.
it's Konami's a weird thing. That's one game I need to get back into, man. Once Taken King came out, it was.
Oh man, like once I got done with Mad Max, I was like, okay, I'm gonna play some Rocket League and Detox, and then I'm gonna jump into Phantom Pain, and then damn it. Like
Man.
I went by, like I was like, my car's done. What, okay, I should no, Taken King came out today. Like,
And there's so much. Like I was telling my buddies about it. I was like, yeah, man, Logan came in. I was playing with him. Like, he's gonna get a mic so we can talk. But I was like trying to explain to him some of the things in the story and blah blah blah. And he was like, oh, you probably scared him away. Of how there's so much into it that you could get just lost in a rabbit hole. Like I don't even want to start to talk about the stuff I'm working on in the game because it would just lose everybody. So I'm not. But man, I'm so excited for it.
Nice.
Yeah, let's see here. What else we got? We got a few things. I want to save some things from when we come back from the break, but I did see a few news stories that I thought were interesting. Like, did you see that they're doing the Nightwing DLC for Arkham Knight? I think it comes out real soon.
Okay.
They're doing a Catwoman as well, so that was announced.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Right. Is that a game you're still playing at all?
No.
Yeah, me neither. Like, I'm really thinking about just deleting it off my my hard drive. Then again, I don't know. I got the new one, so I don't have to. But it's just taking up space. I don't think I'll ever go back to that game and play it.
Yeah, that was, and it's kind of been like that with all the Arkham games. Like they're awesome games, but I don't, once you mop up the side stuff and the challenges and whatnot, I don't see a lot of replay value. And
Yeah.
you can argue that's good or bad. It
Right.
depends.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's just this one series. I was just like, what am I still doing? Why is this still here? I was going through them I was going through my system trying to clear out stuff that I'm just never gonna play or not gonna get to, and that was what I sat on for a little bit, and I was just like, I don't know, is this something I need on here? So
Well,
I don't know.
you can always go back and re-download it though.
That's true. That's true. I do have my saves, I guess. That's right. It's just
Yeah.
taking up so much space. I was like, I don't need this anymore.
Well, and I mean, that's the thing. Like I can't like the install for it just because I got it day one and it took all night to install. It's like a 50 gig install. It was crazy.
It really is. It really is. Well, we got some more video game news, but we're gonna take a quick break. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. Be right back. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we got some more video game news to talk about. We got some comics. Going to talk about Kevin Smith's Quiver, and get into some reviews. So, some video game news I saw, and I don't know how real this is because, actually, I take that back. We'll talk about this first, then we'll get into something else. But Pokemon Z was announced officially.
Yes.
for 3DS, and is to be released 2016.
Yes. That
Yeah,
much we know.
that much we know. Yeah, and so that's awesome. Coming off the news, of course, last week with the Pokemon Go. So it seems like they're riding that for now. So that's probably going to be the big game next year. I'm surprised. Did Ruby come out this year?
Yeah? No. Last year?
Yeah, it's like we
Last
skipped
year.
a year with Pokemon.
Well, when
Um,
did oh man, I don't know. I don't have my release dates lined up with Pokemon stuff lately. Like I couldn't tell you.
right, right. Because I know X and Y came out before Ruby,
Right, but
but
then we had Black 2 and White 2. Like they were the
well,
first ones to have like a sequel.
right, that was Black. Yeah, yeah. Because this is what Z is. I mean, Black 2 and White 2 was their extra version of that
Right.
generation. So X and Y, or X and X and
Yeah.
Y, Z's its logical like best. Who knows what it's going to be? It could be like a remake of that game or the best form of that game, or it's going to be like a new story, kind of how 2 was before, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So that'd be cool. I guess like they said, there's going to be like 5 different forms of the Pokemon that's on the cover. Did you see it?
No.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a like Frieza, I guess. This is my final form. Apparently, it's like Pokemon combined to make like a Megazord type thing. I don't know. I'm
God.
probably getting my story mixed up,
It's
but that's
Voltron Mon.
yeah, exactly.
Oh boy. Okay.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But yeah, man. So it's cool. I
Well,
love
and
good.
that's not entirely without precedent.
Yeah,
Game wise, yeah, but because they would just evolve. But when you break it down, you get when you get Magneton when you combine 3 Magnemite. You know,
right, right, exactly.
Muck
And
is a bunch of Grimer put together, kind of.
oh yeah,
If I
oh yeah.
remember
And
right,
like
that may
the
be wrong.
image they showed of it, it has like it almost looks like it has like 5 things sticking out of its back. And so that's what I assume it turns into the 5 forms. So I don't know. It's Pokemon. It's weird. But we'll embrace it, of course, because we love it.
Totally, totally.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And one other thing I saw, and I know it's fake, and I know it's been rumors forever, that they're eventually going to do a remake of Yellow. Now it's totally fake. It's not going to happen. I did a little bit more research, and it seems to pop up like every year, where someone gets an article and they post it all over the place. And I did some research. And I was like, oh no, this doesn't look real again. It's just rumored. But I would welcome it. I would welcome a 3DS version of Yellow.
Totally.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
It would be interesting for sure, but I don't know.
Yeah, no. We got some Black Ops 2 or 3 news.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you see this bundle? They got a special or limited edition 1 terabyte PS4 bundle include Black Ops 3. It's got like a skin around the whole PlayStation and a controller.
Yeah, it's a neat looking. If you don't have a PS4, this is a neat looking thing, and the terabyte hard drive is a seller for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I thought it looked really cool. The controller looked a little bit strange with the orange, but it looked cool. It didn't look like as bad as the Star Wars one. Like I thought that one looked terrible, like the controller did.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, it looked cool. It's definitely good color design on it, good contrast, and yeah, dude, it looked dope. And the game
nice.
was actually pretty fun playing the beta. So it seems like this is the generation of like how many different versions of the PlayStation have they come out with? Like
Oh my god, I know, right?
special editions. You have the Destiny one.
I have the Destiny one. They did one for the Taken King. They did one for Batman. They did one for The Order. Yeah.
It's crazy, and it's weird they even did one for the Taken King as like an expansion as a digital game.
Well,
Yeah.
but there was a hard copy release though.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Like when I picked it up, it was the whole, the Legendary Edition was an all-in-one physical copy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I did see that Sony came out and said it's the Taken King was the most or the biggest selling game of all time digitally for Sony
Yeah,
for one day sale or whatever.
I believe
Um,
it. Sure.
yeah, because the servers there's just so many people now playing the patrols and whatnot. So I believe it. And the reviews are just just I think they were all like 9s and whatnot. So
Nice.
that's cool. But yeah, man. So let's see here. I think we don't have that much more news except for BioShock Collection apparently turned up in South Africa retailer.
Really?
Yeah, for the PlayStation 4. So apparently they're going to be doing the BioShock games, putting them in a collection. Which
That doesn't surprise me.
no, not at all. And who knows? But maybe he'll come up with his own console and skin and everything else too. I'm sure of it. But
that's
yeah,
what we need. And you know there'll be one with Uncharted.
yeah. Oh yeah, there'll be one with Uncharted. And see, here's the thing. I want a Kingdom Hearts one. I want to play a Kingdom Hearts collection because that's one series I never got into that people obsess over, and I'm like I never got into it for whatever reason. But that's a collection I'd pick up.
You may find them on PS Now.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You may find the PS3 HD remasters come through there.
Oh, that's actually true. Yeah, I'm gonna go actually look after the show and see if
They may
if
be
they're
there.
on there, because then I would just sign up for the month and enjoy it. Because I don't know, it's always been a series I never got into, but I'd play, test it out.
I keep forgetting about PS Now. There's a lot of stuff on there.
There really is, yeah, and they keep adding it, and it's something I haven't really gone back to. I enjoyed it for the free month or whatever that we got,
Yeah.
and I just haven't touched it. I played like Shadow of the Colossus because it's a great game.
Oh man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I played first season of Walking Dead.
There you go.
And that's about it. I don't think I touched much else. I'm trying to think. No, I didn't get to much else on it.
I went back to Saints Row 2. That's my favorite. I like 3, but 2 is my favorite for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's a good game. That series good overall. I like how over the top they've just gone and ran with it.
Oh sure. Well, why not?
Oh yeah, they're not trying to go the Grand Theft Auto more serious route. They're just like, hey, and by the way, did you ever see the BBC thing with Rockstar?
I didn't, but I heard they really didn't like it.
Yeah, well, who? Oh, Rockstar didn't like it?
Rockstar, yeah, they were really not happy.
Yeah, they were not impressed, and I believe they sued them.
They were, I think they were talking about it. Did they actually follow through?
I don't know. Yeah, they sent out a tweet. They were like, was it Basil Brush busy? What exactly is this random made up shit? Like, quote unquote. That was what they said.
That's
Yeah. Grand Theft Auto firm sues BBC over Daniel Radcliffe film.
Okay.
I don't know if it went through anything. You can sue anyone for anything. But yeah, I want to see that. I would just to see,
And what was it called? Game Changers, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so that's gotta be interesting. Let's see here. What else? I think we're it for video game news. Let's get into some comics.
Good comics news this week.
Oh yeah. You take the first one here.
I love this. Bill Finger, who co-created Batman and came up with a lot of, like, he was a huge contributor to Batman in the beginning, and kind of got as creators did for the longest time in comics, kind of just sort of pushed to the wayside. Mm-hmm. Bob Kane, was kind of the he, when people think, well, who created Batman? Well, it's Bob Kane. Well, it was Bob Kane and Bill Finger, and it's only recently that, like, there's been a huge push to get him recognized again. Mm-hmm. And even they did the reissue of Batman's first Detective Comics appearance, and they made it a point to highlight his name in the created credits and everything. And so now DC and Warner Brothers have come out and they've said that in the future film and TV projects like Gotham and Batman vs Superman, they're going to include him with they're going to give him a created credit.
That's good. It's a shame it didn't come, in his lifetime, but it's something that, it's good to see that it's happening now. But I guess, he did pass away before the film, for the first Batman film, so yeah, it's good. That's good. I'm glad when companies do that.
Yeah. Well, and I mean with comic book writers especially, There's so many that have had. What's the help me out here? What's the Heroes Fund, that the charity that specifically helps?
It was wasn't it for it was who started? It was a guy who was fighting for Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Oh yeah, that's gonna bother me too.
Yeah, we'll look that up on the next break, because and that's because that's the thing. Like, you forget, you think about, oh, so and so created, because everybody thinks of Stan Lee. Oh, well, he created these characters. He's well off. He's kind of the exception to the rule.
He is.
So many other people who created, so many different, Siegel and Schuster most famously. They got a check for Superman, and that was it. And that was a legal fight that lasted decades.
Oh yeah.
That was you want to talk about Superman Doomsday kind of fight. That was on a titanic scale.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of it was an artist that was fighting for him.
Yeah.
And he was actually on the Kevin Smith podcast. I'm sure you've heard it. On Fat Man on Batman, where he was talking about like how, I forget which one of them was outside of the first film. Like, he didn't even get into the film.
Jeez.
Or no. Yeah, it was a film, or it was a Broadway production. I forget which one it was. But like, he didn't even have a ticket for it. And like, that's how bad it was. That they didn't get, the credit they deserved. They didn't get the money they deserved. All of that. And it sucks. That it really does suck. That's why, and it's weird, because that's why Image Comics started how it did.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother rabbit hole. Like, like, they started as that too, and then they kind of like, who's the big creator that got in a big tussle with Spawn's creator?
Was it Neil Gaiman?
It was Neil Gaiman.
It was Neil Gaiman.
Angela.
Yeah.
Right, with Todd McFarlane. So like, Todd McFarlane created Spawn, and in his comic, he was like, I'm sorry, in the comic he created Angela. He was like, okay, where am I gonna get my stuff? He was like, oh no, you don't get anything. Spawn's my creation. You just wrote a little bit of it.
Yeah.
And so it was like, oh, we didn't think about this.
Yeah. That was some. It's a weird, like, that's where work for hire gets into. I don't know. It gets weird looking at all that. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
The Hero Initiative is what it's called.
Heroes Initiative. Okay.
That's what
good,
it was.
Good. Yeah. So that's good. I'm glad he's getting.
So good. Good for Bill. Good for Bill. That's good news.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, let's see here. Actually, I think we're going to take a break. We got some more comic book news to talk about. When we get back, we're actually going to spend a lot of time talking about Quiver. So we're going to talk about Kevin Smith's Quiver. Got some comic book news, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we got just a little bit of comic book news, and then we're going to talk a lot about Quiver. I see we got some Black Panther news.
We do, and I'll go ahead and take the name for you.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna screw it up too. Ta-Nehisi Coates.
That's
and
good.
I'm sure I've done something wrong. But
he's better than I could ever imagine.
He's a writer and he's written also he's done some column work. I forget which newspapers. I want to say I don't know. I'm sorry, I forgot. But very socially conscious writer, is going to work on a story arc for Black Panther called A Nation Under Our Feet. And I didn't see any details about it. But I thought, this will be interesting. Somebody who I didn't see any comic book credits to his name, so they're bringing in a more someone kind of outside the loop of comic books to write a story for him, and I thought that was great news. I'm all for, if you can write a good story, write a good story. I don't care where you came from or what your background is. If you've got the talent, you've got the talent. And I want to see what you got. And Brian Stelfreeze, who was the artist on Domino, on back. I don't know if you remember that or not.
No.
It was I keep wanting to say it was a Marvel story.
Okay.
He did some work with Image too for a while, but he's gonna be doing the art on this.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw there was an article. I don't know if it was IGN or where it was at, but it was like some of the craziest thing Black Panther's ever done. And one of them was like he put the Silver Surfer in an armbar or whatever. And he's like, "What kind of sorcery is this?"
Yeah.
You know? I just thought that is great. Like he's done some really crazy things in comics. And you know, I'm glad we're getting more stories from him. I know he was kind of like the leader of the last New Avengers books. That was pretty cool. This is gonna be for his new series, right? Like number
Right.
one. Okay, cool. That's gonna be huge, especially with this movie and everything coming out. Yeah, I'm really glad he's on top, you know, now. So that's cool. Let's see here. We got one more thing. I saw that Valiant was gonna create a new female icon for 2016. So I guess they're gonna have a new book coming out. That's one publisher I really need to get into because a lot of people like Valiant.
Well, they're big alternative. You know,
Right.
they take a lot of the story tropes and play with them, and some of it really works.
Yeah, it totally does. Yeah. That's what everyone says that reads it. Exactly what you just said. So that's one thing I want to get into. They got a lot of good series. And yeah, and I like how it's all shared as well. So we know they're getting their movie franchise coming out, and that's gonna be cool too. But let's get into it, man. Last week I kind of brought up on the show that I'd like us to kind of go back and forth with like sharing like here's a story that I read that really makes me love comics. And I don't want to put you on the spot, but maybe sometime in the show, let me know what we should read next. We're gonna get into the one for the poll. So we're gonna do that this week. So hey, maybe if you want to wait until next week to do that, that's fine, and we just go back and forth.
Sounds
Uh,
good.
yeah. So yeah, let's just do that. We're gonna do the poll one this week. So at the end of this, we're gonna talk about which one won. And then next week you can tell me, hey, this is a book that I'm in love with, and this is what we're gonna read. And even if I haven't read it or if I've read it, whatever, let's just read it again. But this week was Kevin Smith's Quiver. Now tell me. Now I've read it before, but I want to hear from you. What did you think of it?
Boy, that was a trip.
Yeah.
It was well, like the way it started off. Like it's got a slow build to it. It takes a couple issues before it really starts to even get into anything.
Yeah, a lot of words.
Yeah. Well, Kevin writes dialogue.
Yeah. I mean, to me, some of the funny stuff. Like, for example, I loved it when there was just a little bubble and it says, "Two grilled to perfection filet mignons later." Dot
Yeah.
dot. I was like, that's so Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so of course, this story is about Oliver Queen just coming back to life. And it's not the Oliver Queen that just died, however many years prior. It's the Oliver Queen from like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like he only remembers events up to a certain point, and that's it. And it's like the good part of his life, the good stuff, like him on the road with Hal. And it all happened before DC was like, hey, let's just screw up our superheroes' lives. Let's give Aquaman a hook hand. Let's just make everyone dark. Let's kill Barry. Let's kill Hal. Make him a crazy psychopath. It was before everything went south in the DC universe, and so. He's this, swashbuckling hero that says, it's fun. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. When this came out, like I said, I was just starting to get back into comics, and this was the first graphic novel I picked up because they were like, hey, you should read things in chunks and not just issue by issue. You kind of lose you. Pick this up if you like Kevin Smith and whatnot. And it was just, I found it really cool. I found it interesting that, because I didn't know anything about a lot of these characters. And going back and rereading it was actually really fun because now I know all the stuff, or a lot of it. Like I didn't know who Deadman was at first, but now I know who he is reading it back.
Yeah.
Going back and knowing all these relationships and like what was happening in the DC universe at that time, it now makes a lot more sense to me than I did reading it years ago. But I really enjoyed how fun it was. I felt like him when I first time I was reading it. Like I don't know what all these people are talking about. They're going crazy.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but I'm here for the ride, but what are you talking about? Everything's fine. And they're like, "No, Ollie, you're dead." And everyone seems to know that but you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, it took a while to build up to that, and like it's just such a weird situation. Like the guy he was living with is like an old gay guy, and it's just they have like a fun little relationship where they're just best of friends, and he's like, "Thanks for letting me stay in your house, and this is great, and that you took me in after I rescued dude, and blah blah blah." And the girl that he saves, and I don't know how far too into spoilers we should get.
Let's just go ahead right now and say we're gonna spoil this.
We're gonna spoil this, so hopefully you read it. But yeah, so like I loved how it was and it was one of those situations where it kind of felt like the old Batman series, where like he had an aunt and whatever that was at the pack, and so it was a really weird like setup. And then like of course the girl he saves, like she's like into prostitution and whatnot. He gives her the card. She comes to the school. So I guess we should say a little bit about what the story was going on. Oliver Queen's dead. He comes back. This old man takes him in. He's really rich, and he tries to kind of bring him back into society. He tries to, like, okay, here you go. He actually changes everything in the apartment to make it a little bit more old-fashioned. Oliver Queen's not really understanding what time frame it's been. He does quickly, when he starts running into people, realize, holy crap, something's wrong. Even though he tries to fight every single one of them, he's like, you guys are crazy. He's talking old-timey, Oliver Queen. So anyway, he runs into all of them. And yeah, and so like I really liked when he started getting into like with his time with Batman. And when he was like, come back to Star City with me, if you're feeling a little bit brave and bold.
Yeah.
I love the little smirk from Batman.
Yeah.
'Cause that's Kevin Smith. That's him making his little joke. So yeah. So anyway, he saves this girl from getting. She was a prostitution ring. She was in like the mayor's office or something like that, or some politician. He saves her, gives her a card, says, "Hey, come work for this children's place." And so I shouldn't sit here and say the whole story, but I really liked it. I liked how he met all of his old friends again. It was a story about him just like, hey, this is the best of me. And I really liked when he went back and he sees Canary for the first time.
Yeah.
And what seems like forever. And he calls her Pretty Bird, and she's crying. She's like, "Say it again." Like it was that moment that, and this was really to me Kevin Smith not reading comics for a little bit, because it seemed like he wrote about Oliver Queen that he knew, not the Oliver Queen that the audience that was reading every week knew.
Exactly.
Right, and so this was his way of like, hey, I can make this like a good couple again. I can put this back in here, and it was it was really cool. So anyway, in the story, you find out that Oliver Queen was brought back from the dead by Hal Jordan with all of his powers and everything else, but it was the best part of Oliver Queen, basically before everything went to shit with him. Before he blew up in the plane and before all the bad stuff and the relationship stuff, it was the good part of him. So he only remembers the good stuff with Canary. And so he's brought back, and he's a husk, basically. He's a quiver. He is this thing that he doesn't have a soul. And during this, all the stuff that happens, Hal pulls him out and takes him to heaven, basically, and reunites with his soul. And his soul's like, hey, you're you and I'm me. You're the body that he brought you back. Go do your thing. Enjoy your life. He's like, wait a second, I don't have a soul. What's going to happen after my life? He's like, don't worry about that. Just live your life. Just live your life. And of course, Hal's like, how could you say that to him?
Yeah.
He's going to now question what he is, and stuff happens, and he finally, it's a really good point in the book where he's just like, all right, I'm doing it. I'm going back, and he's like, just do it for your son, if anyone. And he does. So finally, Ollie the spirit goes back into Ollie the husk or whatever, the hollow they call him.
Yeah.
And finally he's won. So this was just a really cool way to get Oliver Queen back into continuity and back as himself. And I thought it was just a fun run. It's very like the dialogue is very Kevin Smith, and so I think that's why it kind of spoke to me a little bit more than a lot of other comics. There's a lot of writing in it, but to me it never took away. So I'm sorry, I keep talking. What did you think of it, man?
My favorite part of this was, like, I loved the story and the way that they tied it all together. It all worked really well. It did, like, every once in a while it tended to wander just a little, but then they reeled it back. My favorite part was when you find out, the old guy's actually ridiculously evil.
Right.
But the thing is, when they start talking, and when the first time they mentioned the Magdalene Grimoire, and I thought, now wait a minute, I've heard this before. And then he says, oh yeah, and so I had to track this to the Burgess estate at Witchcross. And I went, no, this can't be the same place. And he says, oh, we've got something really precious in the basement. And he goes down there, and you see, did you get that, what was down there?
No, what? Well, I mean, I know it was down there in the comic, but what do you mean?
That's Sandman. That was Dream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. No, I didn't make that connection.
That whole thing was like, oh, I popped in down there while this guy had captured Dream.
Oh,
yeah.
The guy down there in the thing was Sandman. Gotcha.
Yes. And that,
okay.
Oh man, that was my favorite part. Like, I loved, I know it was the one thing that didn't have to do really with this story in particular, but seeing, like, Kevin wrote in a specific Sandman sequence, like, he tied that into the universe.
Oh yeah.
That was just.
There was other little things too, like you actually see Jason Todd swinging in the background in heaven.
In heaven, yeah.
He's like, oh, that's one of the Batmans. So it was such a cool, fun adventure.
It was a good story.
Right. Well, we gotta take a break. We're gonna come back. I might say a little bit more about Quiver, I might not, but we're gonna come back again. You're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. Be right back. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and yeah, man, so that was the Quiver. I hope you guys listening enjoyed it. I know I did. I hope Logan did too. I think he did. And yeah, so we got the poll came out to Why the Last Man. So Why the Last Man by Brian K. Vaughan is what we're going to be reading this week. And so maybe we just switch off every other week. We'll do a poll and then we'll do one of our picks. But yeah, this week, Why the Last Man won it out. So that's one series I haven't read. I know you have. So you might want to go back and refresh and read it.
Totally.
Yeah, and the listeners go read it too. And we're gonna spend a whole segment next week talking about it, and just kind of breaking it down like we did with Quiver. And yeah, so yeah, I can't say much more. I really enjoyed Quiver, and I really enjoyed the ride going through it again. So if you still haven't read it, even though we kind of spoiled most of it, go read it. It's so much fun. Like, and I just found out there's a part 2 to it.
What?
Yeah, Kevin Smith wrote a volume 2 to it, called. Well, we'll get back to that because I don't know the name off the top of my head. Actually, I can tell you in just a second.
Interesting.
But yeah. So he apparently did a volume 2, and I'll tell you what that is right now. It is called Sounds of Violence by Kevin Smith and Phil Heister. So same team. So I'm actually going to go pick that up just for fun because I never knew that it continued with just him. So I'll be doing that. But yeah, man. So, well, let's get into more of like the review section of our show. We got a lot to talk about. I know you watched a lot this week. So which one do you want to take first?
Let's just go ahead and talk about Fear the Walking Dead, because not much happened.
Okay, yeah, and I need to kind of go back and rewatch this. I saw most of the beginning, the end. Someone came and came in the room, talked to me and whatnot. So I didn't see a lot of it. I liked the ending of it though.
Yeah, like that was the only thing. Like the entire build up to that was like, it was a little like there wasn't much that happened, and what little did happen didn't really have much payoff.
Right, yeah, exactly. And it's really frustrating. These characters to me are really frustrating. The dad is such a pushover. I can't stand it. The kid, like his son, like on the roof with the, like his little vlogging video, like he's just a things gotta change, and his attitude is just really weird to me.
These characters are all they're borderlining on stereotypes in a sense, or maybe not stereotypes, maybe trope is a better word I'm looking for. I'm not
Right.
sure, but
He's
they're
got
just
this like all Occupy Wall Street attitude in a zombie book.
well, and it doesn't help much that the military are all sit down, shut up, I wear the uniform, you'll do what I say.
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
hate.
it's the same
God, I
thing on
can't.
that end of the spectrum. It's like
Oh,
I believe you said it best. You're like, we've seen this so many times. Like
I
this,
this
it doesn't.
I thought this characterization died like in the last millennium. Like
Yeah.
we've seen this over and over again, but just I just can't wait for their world to completely collapse because then it might get interesting.
Well, and that's what we saw at the end of this episode. We literally saw their world being torn apart, and we saw people being taken, and so now we're finally going to see a.
Well, but it's the army knows best. It's like I can't look. I'm all for the respect and everything, but this is just this is.
Yeah, yeah, and apparently the next episode's called Cobalt. Apparently that's what the show was going to be called originally. And so like in the next episode, it's like the National Guard's plan for the neighborhood is finally revealed.
Okay.
And it has to do with this thing called Cobalt. So apparently that's what the show was originally going to be called before Fear of the Walking Dead. So I'm kind of curious what that means, and what the whole plan is. And did you see? Rumor is who showed up on the set.
No, who showed up?
Hold on, let me get the actor's name
Well,
because I just blanked. It's Carl. It's the actor who plays Carl.
Really?
Yeah, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
Couldn't happen. There's no way to write that.
Right. Well, and I wonder if maybe he was just popping by.
I think he was just popping by, maybe say hi or see what's going on the set, because he really loves what he does. I've seen some of his interviews. Chandler Riggs is his name.
Yes.
He really loves being that character. Of course, he played it since he was a little kid. He knows it, intimately, and so he really digs that character. So he might just be fanboying on the set, like, hey, well, I want to see what this is like.
More than likely, yeah.
Exactly, yeah, because there's no way there could be a crossover. I am curious who's doing the mirror, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
How they set that up, and it was a bookends to the episode, so
Right.
I thought it was good. But yeah,
cobalt
let's talk.
Cobalt is they use isotopes of cobalt in radiation therapy, I think.
Oh, okay.
Cobalt 60 comes to mind for some reason. So I don't know if maybe I don't know if they're thinking of it like oh, okay. They're gonna nuke the city. Sure.
Oh.
Radiation treatment. Yeah, that would do it.
Right. Yeah. Let's just nuke the city full of really good people for no reason.
How about that? Well, again, this is what they're playing into. That's why I can't. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's driving me nuts.
Right. Oh yeah. And I think there was little moments of there, where the kid was like, "I'm no hero," and in my head I'm like, not yet, but the writers clearly are making you a very vulnerable kid,
exactly.
Drug addictions, but by the end of this, you're going to be this big hero where, that's where I see it going. But yeah, that's enough about Fear the Walking Dead. Let's talk about something you want to talk about. Let's talk about Doctor Who.
Yes, we had our season premiere, and it was awesome.
Yeah?
And
Let's talk about it.
My favorite part was, the whole story is it's based on a choice that the Doctor has to make. Or has made, depending on how you want to break down the time-space spectrum. Because again, timey-wimey.
Timey-wimey.
But it comes down to, and I don't want to spoil this for you, because I know you need to go watch it, but you'll see, you're familiar enough with the mythos, I think, that you'll appreciate when this happens.
Okay,
and
cool.
you'll see, oh my god, it's this. And then so they come around to they bring back Missy, who was in the last season, and that's not spoilery because they came out with that already. They were like, yeah, she's back. And they're like, but no buts, nothing, never mind.
Okay.
So she's back and has to work with Clara, and it's a weird but fascinating dynamic between the two of them.
Didn't we see them working on something before? She's the one where she looks very old-fashioned, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And she's evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the two of them working together to help the Doctor was like, well, yeah, because she's technically his oldest ancient friend, so it makes sense. But
Right.
and they really let Capaldi just kind of off the leash, and
Yeah.
he went out there. The stuff that he does in Middle Ages England is just it's fascinating. It's
Now I know you said you liked him as a Doctor, right?
yes.
Okay, yeah. So that's one thing I'm curious about is how, because I've only really seen him young, not the older type of Doctor. So I'm curious how that's going to be.
Well, and you'll see the next, like, because you haven't seen the last season, you haven't seen his first season.
No, yeah. That's
Yeah.
I'm really excited to get into it. It's just something I haven't done. I gotta do. Like that's one thing on the list
Yeah.
of many to do. I really think I just need to delete Destiny for a few weeks.
And
I'll
catch
come
up. Yeah.
back.
And the BBC is letting the season premiere up, like, on YouTube and all kinds of things
Oh
to
wow.
watch.
No.
There were reports that they were going to do that with a whole season, but it
Okay.
turns out it's just the season premiere.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say the whole season. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no excuse at that point. Yeah.
No,
So,
but,
but yeah, man, that's awesome. I can't wait. Let's see what else we got going on
So
here.
let's roll into Blind Spot here real quick, just because because it stars Jamie Alexander, who played Sif
Okay.
in all the Thor movies and on Agents of Shield, and it really gives her like she really gets a lot of great moments
Hmm.
in this in just the premiere, and I don't know about her co-star. I don't know about the male lead. I don't remember the actor's name, or the character's name, even though it's the giant tattoo in the middle of her back.
Okay, so this is the
Yeah.
show about the girl that's tattooed that wakes up in the middle of Times Square in a bag, right?
Right.
Okay.
With-
All right. Yeah, I don't
with-
know anything else about it.
Yeah, with medically induced like total amnesia. Like it's not really a matter of, oh well, she suffered trauma. No, like it's wiped. It's gone.
Oh, okay.
There's still like the reflex memory and everything, but like personal memories, the choices, all of that, probably not going to come back.
Okay.
There's not going to be a moment of just, they show like there's a point in the episode she fires a gun, and like that triggers a memory of her at a shooting range. But
Okay.
it's not like this whole thing. It's just like, oh hey, I was outside and there were targets and I shot them and that's it. Like
Nope.
it's not falling into the whole, oh, and the glint off the thing lit up this painting which had the eyebrows of the ancestor and that
Right.
like that's, and now they remember everything. They're not, you can tell they're not going to do that.
Oh yeah.
So, but that's interesting. That'll be a fun show to watch.
Yeah. I've only seen because I hardly watch TV anymore. I've only seen a few commercials on it. I usually watch it when I go to like family members, like my grandparents' house. They watch a lot of regular TV, and so like I've seen a few commercials, and I'm like, what is that? That's weird.
Yeah.
Just waking up.
Yeah, it's interesting. And it'll be fun to watch going forward.
Yeah, that's cool. What else we got here to talk about?
Well, we got Night of Champions.
Oh yeah, how'd
Night
you
of
like it?
Champions on Sunday. The matches were good. Nothing really big.
Did Sting? By the way, now I saw the matches. Whatever happened to Sting on Raw?
They didn't discuss it. Didn't talk
They didn't
about it.
discuss it?
Didn't show it. Did nothing.
Oh wow, because rumor was he was going to be on it because of his injury.
Right. They're
Right. So
well, I don't think they have a prognosis yet.
okay.
Like they're not sure. They're pretty sure he didn't break his neck, but
It's close.
It's I mean, the guy's 56.
Yeah,
And
he's up there.
Yeah, and to do the stuff he did, like, I mean, he put on a hell of a match. I was
Oh,
not
yeah.
expecting that caliber match, given his age and the fact that, and not just that he's old, but that he's old and he's been doing this for decades. Like
Yeah.
that, it just takes away your ability to perform. But
Yep.
I'm telling you, man, that was a hell of a match, and it sucks
Oh, yeah.
that it ended the way it did, because
It did.
he literally collapsed.
Yeah, he did. And so I still have high hopes we might see him in Taker. I think maybe they hold off on that until he gets better or whatever. It might be that might have been his last match, more than likely.
It's entirely possible. Which would
Yeah.
it would suck to have that be it, but you could have worse final matches.
Right, yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. I wanted him to go on a higher note. I wanted him to beat Taker at WrestleMania. Even
Yeah.
though it's already been done, it would still be a huge moment.
Well, and
because he's
might.
now 0-2. Like,
Uh,
it's kind of frustrating as a Sting fan, I guess, seeing him go down like that.
yeah. Well, we'll see. Time will tell. I hope he gets better.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's been a show. So let me do some house cleaning here. We got again. You want to go and listen to us, of course, every Wednesday at 9:00 on the N.FM. Of course, we'll be on iTunes and whatnot later. Go to our Facebook group, We Geek Podcast, and our We Geek Podcast Facebook page. Our Twitters is at We Geek Podcast. Email is wegeekpodcast@gmail.com. Personal is at Adam Estep and
at the Logan Witt.
The Logan Witt. So again, we'll be here next week. Go read Why the Last Man. Am I missing anything?
I think that'll do it.
Captain.